All right, so is free will, which is an assumption made by Arminians, because if humans and spiritual creatures do not possess free will, it undermines the complete Arminian view. So is free will even an intelligible concept? And I would suggest to you it absolutely is. Now, Calvinists would say that every decision that we make has previous antecedent causes, and that if we were placed in the exact same situation again, we would make the exact same decision. And there's no way we could have chosen otherwise. So say you're at a gas station, or say you're at an ice cream shop, and you're choosing between, well, let's just go with chocolate and vanilla, since that's the easiest. And you end up choosing chocolate at 12:58 p.m. on Monday, or on Wednesday, August 7th, 2013, and you're in the exact same location, and the exact same ice cream's in front of you, and in other words, all the factors are the same. It's the exact same situation. And you choose chocolate. Well, Calvinists would argue that if you went back and redid that whole scenario and had the same factors involved, there's no way you could have chose vanilla. That would imply free will. And obviously free willists believe that, yeah, you could have, let me be careful how I say this, and for the most part, you could have chosen vanilla if you wanted to. You didn't have to choose chocolate in that situation. And that's what free will is. It's making a decision that could have been made otherwise. So, a philosophy professor of mine, hardcore Calvinist, in fact, he's written some books now, and it was one of the leading Calvinists out there as far as authoring books. He was when I was actually a Calvinist when I was taking this class, and he was kind of mocking Arminians by saying, "Where is this free will? Is it behind my kidney? Is it next to my elbow? Where is this free will?" As though it has to be something physical. Okay, and Sam Harris, I believe he's an atheist. He's just not a Christian. That's for sure. He just wrote a book called Free Will. I think it's called Free Will. And he believes that free will is an illusion and that we do not possess free will. And so it's not just in the evangelical circles, it's also in secular circles where people are starting to adhere to this belief that humans do not possess free will. They think it's an unintelligible concept, that it's incoherent, that it makes no sense, okay? That there's no concept called free will. Okay, having said that, let me ask you this question. And this is the question I would ask Calvinists. Do you believe God is free? Almost every single one of them, and I think Sam Harris is an atheist, but for Christians, if you said, do you believe God is free? Could God have made a creation other than he did? Could God have done anything in a way other than he did? And almost every Christian philosopher, theologian, philosophers from other religions are going to say, of course God is free. He's free to do whatever he wants. Okay, so that shows one thing, at least one thing. Free will is not an incoherent, unintelligible concept. Okay? It's completely rational. Now, if you take this concept of free will and apply it to God, why is it so unfathomable that it can be applied to creatures, human beings, spiritual beings, etc.? I mean, it's not something that's in and of God himself. this is hard to articulate. It's not something in and of God himself. I mean, it's a concept out there. It's called free will. Okay? And if it applies to God, why can't it apply to us? If it applies to the infinite, why can't it apply to the finite? Even more than that, if it applies to the infinite, why couldn't the infinite create us in such a way that is the finite to possess this free will? Okay? And man, to think that God couldn't have done things any other way, heebie-jeebers. So, the end of the story is, yes, it is an absolute coherent concept based on the premise that God possesses free will. Therefore, humans can possess free will. Okay, moving on real quick. If free will is an illusion, and we all just, the vast majority of people in the universe or in the world think that we possess free will, that is basically a cruel joke to play on creation. Oh, because God predestined then. I mean, if we don't possess free will, God predestined that we believe in this illusion. It's just kind of a cruel joke. Hey, I'm going to make the elite, these Calvinists, know the real truth, but I'm going to hide the truth from everyone else and let them believe that we have free will. Again, that doesn't prove anything. I mean, going from that doesn't prove Arminianism in any way, but I just raised the question. It begs to be answered. Goodbye.